Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's STEAM night. Tonight is our fairy tale STEAM night, and we are very excited to have you here with us for our fairy tale fun. With me tonight is Miss Wiltrout.
Hello, my friends. It's great to see you guys.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we will get started. All right, so tonight is all about fairy tales. With us tonight is myself and Miss Wiltrout, and we will be your fairy tale hosts. And we are going to start today's adventure with stained glass art, followed up by a demonstration from Miss Wiltrout. And then we will also be making fairies in a jar. And then we will have a golden egg challenge.
कौन से खबर
Alrighty, friends. So for our very first activity, you are going to need these following materials: markers, black glue, a clear sheet or like a clear sheet protector, or plastic. So Miss Martinez will show you some of those materials before we do our stained glass. If you've never seen stained glass before, in the middle of your screen here, you can see a beautiful example of what stained glass looks like.
All right. So you will need a page protector. Looks like this. It's clear. You will need not just any markers, you need permanent markers. So colored Sharpies are going to work the best. And you will also need black glue. Now, if you don't have black glue, you're going to need some black paint and your regular glue. And I will walk you through those steps when we get to that part of the project. All right. We're going to give you a chance to collect those materials. And once you are ready to go, please answer our poll that we're about to put up, and we will get started. So our first poll is, what is your favorite magical creature? Is it mermaids, dragons, unicorns, or fairies?
Remember, my friends, this is a great time to get those materials. When you have them, you can fill out the poll so we know you're ready. So far, it looks like dragons are in the lead, although mermaids are close behind.
I am so excited that mermaids are in the running. Mermaids are my favorite.
Ooh, it's very close. Dragons are my favorite too, so we're going to have to see which one of ours wins.
Obviously, mermaids are going to win.
We'll have to see. It is close. Looking great, friends.
Miss Martinez, I don't have any of those materials.
That's okay. Do you have a piece of paper?
Yeah, I have a piece of paper, but
Right.
I don't know if I have permanent markers anywhere.
So if you don't have the plastic or the permanent markers and you still want to follow along and draw and color with us, you can. Okay?
I also don't have some of the materials.
No big deal, friends. Like Miss Wiltrot always says, it's NBD, no big deal. We can use other materials instead. So like Miss Martinez said, if you have paper, even crayons, you can color along as we make some stained glass art. I'll give you guys 30 more seconds to find any materials that you might need.
And I have some examples of what the stained glass art can look like. We have a dragon that was done by Miss Wiltrout.
Oh, you're going to need markers, not crayons.
We have a fairy. We have a mermaid. And we have a bridge troll.
While you guys are playing along, here is a few more examples of some stained glass on your screen. You guys can see that sometimes stained glass can be things like animals. Sometimes it can be different pictures. A lot of times it tells a story. A place that we often see stained glass is in castles from a long, long time ago. So if you think of some fairy tales that have castles in them, this is where we would see some stained glass like you guys are about to create.
Whoa,
We've
look
done
at
this
those,
project before.
Mama. I like that one
Mhm.
and that one.
Miss Wiltrout's favorite is the bunny rabbit in the corner. All right, let's go ahead and share those poll results so you guys can see some of the creative results we have. It looks like mermaids and dragons tied. You guys agree with Miss Martinez and Miss Wiltrout that those are the coolest. But of course, fairy is in second and unicorn is last. But unicorns are really cool too. All right, we're going to stop sharing the results, and then Miss Martinez is going to show you her beautiful creations as we create together.
All right, so I'm going to adjust the camera so that you can see the paper that I have.
Find it.
So
Find it.
There we go. Now we can see.
all right, so I have a piece of paper underneath my plastic. That is so that you can see what it is I am doing, so it doesn't blend in with the desk. We are going to be drawing with markers. If you do not have markers, please grab color pencils or crayons and still draw and color along with us. I will still show you how to give it that stained glass effect, even if you don't have the plastic. All right, so we are going to be drawing a fairy tale stained glass. So what I am going to do is I'm going to do a picture of Little Red Riding Hood. All right, so to start, I'm going to use my red and I am going to draw half of a circle. All right, so we have half of a circle. We are going to be drawing in portrait. Let me fix my paper and adjust the camera so we can see it a little better from the correct angle. All right. So we have half of a circle, and then we're going to draw another red line going straight down and kind of like this swoopy motion. This is going to be the back part of her cape. Now, does anybody remember what Little Red Riding Hood was going to do?
Where was she going, my friends? Where was Little Red Riding Hood trying to go? Ooh, Diane has her hand up. Go ahead and unmute Diane. Let's see if we remember.
Oh. Yeah. She thinks.
What do you think, darling? Where was Little Red Riding Hood going at the beginning of the story?
She was going to her grandma.
Very nice. Yeah, she was trying to go to grandmother's house to bring her a nice lunch.
All right, our next stroke, we're going to do another half of a circle on the inside right here. So we have created the top part of the hood for Little Red Riding Hood. Now, Red's mother gave her very specific instructions on her way to visit her grandma. She told her not to go off of the bike path or the path in the woods. Why was that?
Let's see, who knows? Why did mother say not to go? Anya, what do you think?
She said not to go there because she might meet strangers on the way.
Oh, yeah, she said we have to be extra careful because we might have somebody in the woods that would be hungry for that lunch.
All
Very
right.
good.
So our next step, now that we have, I went and I drew a line for the front of her cloak, and then we are going to color in those two sections. We're going to color them in. Are we going to color them in blue, Miss Wiltrout?
I don't think so. For Little Red Riding Hood?
Purple, right?
I don't know. That's what you would mix with blue if you wanted this color. You guys can see we're mixing red, or we're using red for Little Red Riding Hood. Looking great, my friends. Does anyone remember, who does Little Red Riding Hood meet in the woods when she's on her way to grandmother's house? Jianxi knows. Go ahead, Jianxi. Who does she meet?
A monster.
Not just any monster. She met a very hungry wolf. And that wolf was so excited to smell Little Red's lunch for her grandmother. The wolf wanted to have that lunch so badly. But Red said, no, I have to deliver it to Grandma.
All right. Good. For the next thing we're going to draw that lunch. All right. So did she carry it in her hand, or did she have a basket that she carried her lunch in?
Basket.
Nice. So Miss Martinez does not have a brown, and she's trying to figure out how she's going to draw a basket. Do we have to use the color brown to draw a basket?
No.
No? All right. So I'm going to use purple, because whenever Miss Martinez has a chance to use the color purple, she does. All right. So I'm going to draw a rectangle right about here. And I'm going to do a loop over it for the handle on the basket. And I'm going to color it in.
Looking great, my friends. I see so many friends are very focused. Good work.
All right. For the next thing we're going to draw, I'm going to use a yellow, because they don't really have a skin colored Sharpie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw half of a circle, and then that's right in front of where the hood of the cloak is. And I'm going to draw a smaller full circle at the top where of the basket.
Looking great, friends. Now, while you guys are doing that, if we think back to our story, Little Red made a mistake. She told the wolf where she was going, and that hungry wolf had an idea. That hungry wolf was going to meet Little Red at Grandma's house so that he could have a delicious snack. Looking good, friends. Love your creation so far.
All right. So for our next step, we are going to color some hair for Little Red Riding Hood. All right. So I don't have a brown, and I don't want to do red because it's going to blend in with the red. And if I do yellow, it's going to blend in with her face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix colors this time. So I'm going to use my green. To color some hair. And then I'm going to mix in some red. See if we can't make a brown color.
That looks great, Miss Martinez. I love how we're being very creative. I know you guys at home are also being very creative, even if we're using different materials than the markers. You guys are rock stars.
Now, different materials will give you a different result. So if you're using crayons or color pencils to color, then those colors are going to mix very beautifully. And if you're using marker on regular paper, those colors are going to blend beautifully as well. But because I am using Sharpie on a piece of plastic, you will notice that the red just kind of overwrote the green. And that's okay.
It looks pretty good on camera.
All right. So we need to add some arms for Little Red, because right now she just has hands floating in front of her. So I'm going to use my red, and I'm going to just add some arms right there.
She is definitely going to need those arms too, Miss Martinez, because once Little Red finally gets to Grandmother's house, she knocks on the door, but Grammy doesn't answer. Instead, she hears a voice that says, "Come in." Does anyone know whose voice that is?
The
Yeah,
wolf.
oh, somebody said it. Yes, indeed, that is the wolf's voice, but it's in disguise. And Little Red isn't sure, but she goes into the house.
All right. So we have Little Red and we have our basket. Now we're going to draw some of the background. Now, are they at the beach?
No.
No.
Are they in the desert?
No,
No.
not at the desert.
All right, so that means they're probably in space, right?
No.
Miss Martinez is so silly. What do you guys think? Where was Little Red walking through to get to Grandma's house?
The wolf.
The woods.
Woods.
The
Ah,
wolf.
see, that was
The
going to
woods.
be my fourth or fifth guess. All right, so we are going to draw some woods. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some lines like this. Nice tall lines. And these are going to be for our trees.
You're going to want to use a permanent marker.
Looking great, friends.
We're going to color in those trees. And so I'm going to leave my tree trunks blank because they're going, when I move my paper away from the paper underneath it, it's going to be plain. And I kind of like the idea of having some clear pieces of glass for my stained glass. But you can color them brown if you have brown. And what I'm going to do is in between my trees, I am filling in that green, those areas with green, because the further back into the forest you look, you see lots of green. So much green in the woods.
Johnsy, did you have a question, my dear?
Yeah.
What's your question?
My drawing looks a bit like this.
Very cool. You guys are being such rock stars. I love your drawing so far.
It's beautiful.
Looking great, my friends. Good work. So in our story so far, Little Red has gotten to Grandmother's house and hears that voice say, "Come in." So she goes in the house, and in the bed she sees Grandma, but Grandma's looking a little bit different. So Little Red starts asking her all sorts of questions.
Does she ask why her feet are smelly?
That's the way I remember the story. Yes, indeed. Little Red asks, she says, "Grandma, my, what big eyes you have." And Grandma says, "The better to see you with, my dear." That sounds a little suspicious. So Little Red says, "What big ears you have." And Grandma says, "The better to hear you with, my dear." Little Red is definitely getting suspicious. What happens next in the story? I heard somebody wanted to add on. Go ahead, Anya, what else? You want to add on to the story?
She also says what big teeth you have.
That's
And
right.
and the wolf says the better to eat you with.
Oh my goodness, that's the scariest part. You're totally right. Little Red gets closer to inspect Grandma because she is so suspicious that something is definitely different about this Grandma. So she goes up to Grandma and uh-oh, it wasn't Grandma after all. But luckily, Little Red is able to get away safely and she's able to ask for some help. And when that person comes to help, they're able to not only save Little Red, but also help Grandmother out in the end. Phew! That always starts off as such a scary story with that wolf character, but I'm happy that it has a happy ending.
Yeah, me too.
That looks great, Miss Martinez.
You.
Miss Martinez added a little bit of shading to hers, so she's adding some more color. You guys are welcome to color in your picture as well. And the next material that you're going to need, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Martinez, is going to be the glue if you have it. If you don't, no big deal.
Mrs. Liltrons,
Yes, dear?
my sister knows shading.
Really? She knows shading? That is awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you're going to know about shading too. Great, great work, friends. Miss Martinez, do you need this?
Yes, I was going to show them how.
Oh, cool. Miss Martinez is going to give you guys a little bit of a trick if you have that black glue, or if you don't have black glue, a way to mix it. But don't worry, if you're using colored pencils or if you're using markers or crayons, you can always just take a black crayon marker or colored pencil and use that in a moment. But first, let Miss Martinez show you a nice trick.
All right. So I have. Yes, sweetie?
I don't have a glue or black glue.
That's okay.
All right. So what I have right here is some regular liquid glue. Whether it's clear or white, it does not matter. What you want to do is you want to take the lid off of your glue. And mine has this nifty little cap on it because I've never opened this glue before.
Would you like help, Miss Martinez?
Yes, please.
Gotcha.
And the other thing you need is some black paint.
Oh, Miss Martinez. Oh, here. Nope. And this one is harder. Oh, here we go. Woohoo!
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take just a little bit of this black paint and we're going to put it in our.
Move it over just a little bit so we can see. There we go. Perfection. Awesome sauce. And remember, friends, if you do not have glue, that's okay. You can use a black marker, a black colored pencil, or black crayon. But the glue definitely gives it kind of a bumpy effect.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this in with the rest of the glue.
Wait, I just joined, and what are we doing?
Great question. Well, welcome, my friends. I'm so happy that you are here for our wonderful fairy tale steam night. Miss Martinez and I are making our stained glass art. And stained glass is a beautiful art form that's usually found in castles. So when we're making our stained glass today, we decided to make Little Red Riding Hood, which is the artwork you can see on your screen. What Miss Martinez is doing right now is she's mixing up the final ingredient for our Little Red Riding Hood. If you would like, my dear, you are welcome to join in. You can either take the materials that you need and draw a beautiful picture, or you can take some crayons or colored pencils and draw a fairy tale picture. And of course, in just a few minutes, we are going to be going on to our next experiment. So if you are not able to do this one, no big deal. There's still plenty more of our wonderful night ahead.
All right. So I have I have put the lid back on our glue. And oh, this is funny. So our label on our lid is green, and we have a green screen on. So that's really amusing. What we're going to do is we are going to use our glue, and we are going to trace what we have just drawn.
Move the camera just a little bit so we can see.
And do a fine line around our picture.
This is kind of like an outline, my friend. So you're going back in, and anywhere that you have colors that are different from each other, you just want to draw that black line. You can either use glue, or again, you can use that crayon, colored pencil, or marker if you have one.
Okay.
Looking great, friends. This is kind of like if we were looking at real stained glass, this part is what keeps all those glass pieces together. So it kind of helps make all of the artwork one beautiful picture instead of separate pieces of glass. Looking great. If you guys do have a nice clear sheet like Miss Martinez does, this is a really fun project to hang in a window because when the light comes in through the window, you get to see it light up beautiful colors.
Yeah.
That looks great. I see Tristan using his. Looking great, Tristan.
And remember, if you don't have the glue, you can always use a black marker or crayon or color pencil to create those black lines.
I'm using the
Great. Looks awesome. Oh, I see Diane squeezing her glue bottle. That's great work. Irini, love it.
Now, one tip is Miss Martinez started in the center of her picture, and that was a mistake. You want to start at the far end so that your hand isn't going to be running through the glue as you do it, or else you have to be very careful not to rest your hand on your paper.
That's okay. Everybody has learning experiences.
yeah.
Looking great, friends. I see everybody working so hard. I'm so proud of you guys. I can't wait to see your finished creations.
Miss Martinez, can we use hot glue?
I would not use hot glue because it's going to melt the plastic.
Yeah, plus that could be a little bit dangerous if we don't have a parent, but that's okay. If you do have a parent, then I would still probably not use it.
I can't hear you. Wait 1 second. Can you please say that again?
We were just saying it's probably not the best idea to use hot glue because it could melt the plastic, and it would be a little bit concerning to use hot glue if you didn't have a parent. So I would stick to regular glue.
I didn't actually put the plastic on.
That's okay. I still wouldn't use hot glue, my dear. I think that if you have regular glue, that's a great one to use. And if you don't, I would just use marker and go over it and make those lines. It has the same effect. The glue kind of has more of a 3D, like a bumpiness to it. But even if you don't have the glue, having that marker go back in and outline in a darker color really makes your picture pop.
Oh, okay.
Great job, guys. I see Gianchi working really hard. Arini, loving it. Tristan, very cool. Flora, love it. Akshara, very nice. You guys are rock stars. Looking great, Miss Martinez. So my dears, take your time when it comes to all of your beautiful details because of course that's what makes your picture shine. Our next thing on our docket is going to be creating a wizard potion, which I'm very excited about.
Now, before I finish up, there's one very important step that I have missed. And I'm hoping you haven't missed it as much as I talk about it in class. What does our artwork need to have? We need to have our signature on our artwork so that nobody can say that it was theirs. Because you've spent a lot of hard work creating your masterpiece. So you want to make sure that nobody else can claim it. So in the bottom right-hand corner, make sure you put your name.
Okay. Do we have to use pencils for the name?
You do not have to use pencil. Miss Martinez just wrote hers with her glue.
Okay.
So you could do it with marker, you could do it with pen, you could do it with pencil, but make sure your name is there.
And the marker.
All right. We are going to transition our camera back so that you can see us. We look forward to seeing your wonderful creations.
Woohoo! I can help you, Miss Martinez. Get that perfect camera angle. This way and this way. Yeah.
All right. Make sure you leave your artwork somewhere safe to dry if you did use glue.
I used marker, black marker.
Great idea. I would still leave it somewhere safe as we're getting ready for our next experiment.
So
Now that, go ahead.
feel free to keep working on your artwork while we do the live demo. And we will let you know when to wrap it up so that we can start the next project.
Perfection. Excellent. Like Miss Martinez said, our next experiment is actually a wizard's experiment, and I'm going to be the one leading you through our wonderful wizarding work. So you guys do not need any materials for this experiment because it is going to be a magical potion that wizard Miss Wiltrout is going to show you guys. But before we do this magical potion, I have a question for you guys. And my question is, what's matter? You guys ever heard this word before? When I say matter, what do you think of? You can type into the chat, or if you think you have an idea of what matter is, you can always just let me know. What?
Matter is in everything.
Very good. Yes, indeed. Matter is everywhere. It's in everything. It's what makes things. So yes, indeed, there is all different types of matter. And the main types of matter that we focus on here is solid, liquid, and gas. Very good. Can you guys help me think of some examples of some solid matter? What is some solid matter that we can think of? What is solid?
We humans are made of matter.
You're right. Even humans are made of matter, and we're pretty solid. What else is an example of a solid?
A tree.
A tree. Very nice. You guys are super smart. What about liquids? What's an example of something that is a liquid?
Lava.
Water. Very good. Water. Absolutely. Now, can water ever be solid?
Liquid nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen. Another good one. Yes, of course, water can be solid when it's ice. We can change the states of matter sometimes. What about an example of something that is gas?
Water vapor.
Water vapor. Very good one. Anybody else?
Helium.
Helium. Look at you, smarty
Hydrogen,
guys.
helium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur.
Whoa, my goodness, you guys are so smart. So you guys are indeed very intelligent kiddos who know a lot about the states of matter. But did you know that Miss Wiltrout has a way of making something that is two states of matter at the same time? We're actually going to do a very special experiment today where I'm going to make something. It is black. It's called a non-Newtonian fluid. So what we're going to do is I'm going to
If you
take some
put
of my
pressure on it,
Tell me about it. What happens when I put pressure on it?
it turns into a solid. But if you just if you don't put lots of pressure, it feels like a liquid.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, so all I've done so far is I've taken something called cornstarch, which is indeed kind of like a powder, kind of a solid. And I added a little bit of water to it. And when I use my hands and get ooey gooey in there, it starts to become both a solid and a liquid at the same time. When I let it go, it starts to drip from my hands, but I can still pick it up like a solid.
I know, but I don't have cornstarch.
You don't have to. This is just to show you guys an experiment, a wizard's experiment. So like I said, this is just showing you that something can be two states of matter at the same time. And we call this, does anyone remember? I just said it. It's not just oobleck. It has a fancy science name.
Magic.
Not magic. You're so silly, Miss Martinez. No, it's not magic. It is a non-Newtonian fluid, which means it is both solid and liquid. When you apply that pressure, like our friend said, I apply that pressure and it's nice and hard. But the second I relax my fingers, it starts to drip down through them. So let's do some more wonderful ooey gooiness. Oops, here we
I'm
go.
pretty certain that's magic.
It is kind of like magic, I suppose. I could even add a little bit of color to it if I
Oh
wanted.
my gosh, what are you doing? You need a bowl.
Remember, friends, you guys do not need to do this experiment at home. This is just a demonstration to show you guys a magic trick. But Miss Martinez is going to be moving on to our next experiment in just a moment. So if you would like, you guys can go ahead and get your area nice and clean so you're ready for the next thing. So far, all I've done to my non-Newtonian fluid is I added some food coloring to it. And you can see when it's nice and relaxed, the food coloring starts to mix like water. But once I try to, whoops, I added too much. I'll add a little bit more.
Yeah.
Once I add a little bit more of my powder, when I try to pick it up, it's much harder to pick up.
Yeah.
But once I add the water to it again, it starts to be ooey and gooey.
Battery life for what's going on here?
Very nice.
She's using glue in here.
And
And I can't get glue in there.
I would just stick with the cornstarch, baby.
Looking good, friends. Remember, you guys are totally fine. You're welcome to just follow along if you would like and just watch.
Oh, Miss.
Is going to go ahead and get us ready for our next experiment.
I muted you. Hang on.
No worries. While we are getting ready for that next art project.
Why could I hear another?
I know, wasn't that awesome? We can hear on our microphones, which I think is pretty cool. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to get ready for that next art project. So go ahead and clean up your area, just like Miss Wiltrout is going to do now.
Because I thought that was just an echo.
Oh, it sounded like an echo to you?
Yeah.
A little bit. I can hear a little bit of an echo too. That's okay. All right, while we are cleaning up and getting ready for that next experiment, let's go ahead and do our next poll. I keep saying experiment. I definitely mean art project. All right, so our next poll is on your screens now. What we want to know is your favorite fairy tale. Do you like to read Jack and the Beanstalk, Little Red Riding Hood, The Three Little Pigs, or Humpty Dumpty?
Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty. There we go.
Because for a second I thought that was like something for the settings.
Oh, maybe.
Because I know like the thing would popped up and now it's screens. I thought that was something for settings.
Oh, I thought it was like a computer settings. Nope, it's our poll for the day. We have another poll after this one, but we'll do that one at the end.
Wow.
Looking great, friends. You can probably tell one of Miss Wiltrout's favorites is the Little Red Riding Hood, but I also have another favorite one. We'll have to see if my other favorite one gets a good rating too.
Personally, I like the Three Little Pigs.
Three Little Pigs is pretty awesome. And there's a wolf in that one too. I wonder why wolves are always the bad guys. Looking awesome, friends.
They're always trying to eat people.
But orange is a soft color. I don't understand.
I like the Three Little Pigs, but I like more Humpty Dumpty.
Miss Wiltrout,
Yes, dear.
is this the second experiment or the first one?
So that was our demonstration. So instead of doing another experiment, we're going to do...
I think I joined in late.
That's okay. We did an art project to start with today. And now, after our demonstration, we have another art project that Miss Martinez is going to lead us on.
On the in the chat, can you tell me how to do it? Then I can do it at home after class.
Miss Wiltrout, when
Yes,
you
dear.
did like the slimy experiment, nothing happened when I.
Oh, and you tried to do it at home too? Well, the thing that you need to do when you're doing our experiments like that is you need to try and figure out how much water to use and how much of our cornstarch to use. But don't you fret, don't you worry. That was just a scientific demonstration, so you do not have to follow along. What we're going to do now, though, is another wonderful art project. So Miss Martinez is getting the materials together. Miss Martinez, can you remind me what I need?
For this project, you will need a piece of paper. If you have a jar, you need the jar, and you need a pencil and some coloring materials. You will also need a pair of scissors if you are going to put it inside the jar. Now, I know not all of us have a jar. So when I sent the link, I did send a video as well on how to draw a jar so that you could still draw your creature trapped in a jar.
That is awesome. So while you guys are gathering those materials, I'm going to go ahead and share our poll results. So once again, you're going to need markers, you're going to need scissors, you're going to need paper and a jar.
Pencil.
And a pencil. Thank you, Miss Martinez. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and share our poll results.
But I didn't I don't have a jaw and I didn't do the jaw thing.
That's okay. If we didn't do the poll, that's not a big deal at all. You can tell me what your favorite is in just a moment. And if you don't have a jar, that's okay too. Like Miss Martinez said, we can always draw our jar. But first, let's take a look at these poll results.
I didn't draw the jaw.
That's okay. I'm sure Miss Martinez would be happy to show you. So our poll results right here on your screen. It looks like Jack and the Beanstalk, which is one of my favorites, is tied for second place. Little Red Riding Hood is in first. The Three Little Pigs is the other second place. And of course, Humpty Dumpty is there at the end. All of these are really great stories. Yes, dear.
Can you post in the chat what we need to do for the first one because I missed it?
I know, sweetie. That's okay. That's not a problem at all. We're also recording right now, so we will be happy to make sure that you have everything that you need to follow along at home.
Yay!
Go ahead and do this experiment together since we're here, and then we'll go back if we need to.
Now
All right.
now my family could see it.
Exactly.
All right, so I have a jar that is a cute little jar like this. What we are making is a fairy in a jar. So I do have an example of one that I made earlier this week. We're going to be drawing on the outside of the jar, and we're going to be drawing our fairy to trap inside the jar. So the first thing, if you have a jar, that we need to do is make sure that our paper is the correct size. Because if I was to use a full sheet of paper to draw my fairy, it's not going to fit in our jar. So the first thing we're going to do is on our piece of paper, we're going to set our jar like this. Hang on, I can't see. All right, so we're going to set our jar like this on our paper, and we're going to mark a line at the top and on the side. I know that my fairy cannot be larger than this piece of paper right here, this little section. So that is the first thing that you need to find out. If you do not have a jar, that is okay. You get to draw your fairy as big as you want, and I will show you how to add the jar after we've drawn the fairy. All right. Are we ready to start drawing our fairy?
Yeah, I am ready.
Very nice. I
All
see
right.
lots of thumbs up, lots of head nods. Looks like we're ready, Miss Martinez.
Okay.
Just draw the fairy tale from there.
So we want to make sure that we're doing this part in pencil, okay? So the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to draw a circle. Is this a circle, Miss Wiltrout?
I don't think so. You know your shapes, Miss Martinez. What do you guys think? What shape?
Not wrong. Square.
Square. Very nice. A
All right.
square, maybe a rectangle.
Yeah, I think it's a square. We're gonna draw another one right on top of it, so we do have a rectangle. And the reason we're doing that is when we cut out our fairy, we are going to fold on this line right here. We're going to be folding here. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to draw a nice large semicircle. So we're drawing half of a circle. And I'm drawing it nice and dark so you guys can see it. But remember, you always want to draw light so that if you do make a mistake, you can go back and erase it. All right. So what we have just drawn is going to be a mushroom for our fairy to stand on. So I'm putting some little circles so that our mushroom looks a little more interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So for our next step, I'm going to draw a stick person. But I'm going to draw it lightly because we're going to be erasing the sticks. All right. We're going to start by drawing one line and a circle. Then we're going to draw another line going out like this and another circle.
When you guys are ready to move on to the next step, give a thumbs up. Miss Wiltrout's watching to make sure. I know that some of our friends are taking their time, putting their details in. We're not rushing. John Street's ready. Awesome. Diana's still working nice with mommy. That's awesome too. Akshara and family are working hard. Take your time, friends. Whenever you're ready, give us that thumbs up. Tristan's ready. He's got that big thumbs up. Fiora's ready. Khalid looks ready. I think we're ready for that next step, Miss Martinez.
All right. We're going to draw another line just like this.
Okay.
All right, can we pause for just a second? Because I see Anjali raise their hand. They have a question. Go ahead, darling.
Can you go a little back?
To go back a little bit, I know we came in a little bit later, and that's okay. All we're doing right now is we have a piece of paper, and we're starting to draw our fairy. So we have it up on the screen. When you have your paper and a pencil, you can just try to follow along. Try to copy what you see on the screen so far, and Miss Martinez and I are going to take it nice and slow.
Can you go slower?
Yes, we'll go slow, darling. Not a problem. Looking great, friends.
I'm ready.
Awesome. Some of our friends are ready. Miss Martinez, maybe we can do one more step, and then we'll take another little break for our friends that need it.
All right. For this one, we are going to draw two lines. And we're going to put little circles on the end of them.
Wow, our stick person is definitely starting to take their shape. I love it. So again, so far what Miss Martinez has done is she drew that mushroom shape to start, and she included a spot down towards the bottom where you're going to fold the mushroom after we cut it out. Then after she drew her mushroom, she's starting to make that stick figure.
Now we're not going to leave it as a stick figure, so make sure you draw nice and light so that when we erase, the stick figure will be gone. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add one more step. And that is going to be a circle.
I had a feeling that would be the next step.
I did the fairy a bit smaller than Mrs. Martinez.
That's okay.
Fairies come in all shapes and sizes, so that is totally fine, my dear. Looking great, friends.
I am ready.
All right, we are going to start putting clothes on our fairy. So I'm going to start by drawing half of a circle. So we're going to go and draw half of a circle right here.
Is it supposed to be light or dark?
So the half of a circle you can draw dark.
Are we gonna draw her wings?
We will draw the wings after we have the rest of her body drawn.
Hi, Tanvita. I am ready.
Nice. I'm proud of you guys. You guys are doing such a great job following along. I see so many friends that are completing the steps.
I'm
Ready for
ready.
the nice. Looks like we're ready, Miss Martinez.
All right. We are going to draw 2 lines that are going to go up like this. So we have created the torso of our fairy.
I am ready for that.
All right. And our next step is we are going to add a line on each of the arm and leg. So we're going to do a line here, a line here, a line here, and a line here.
I do.
I'm loving your songs, friends. I love that you guys are so ready for the next part of our beautiful fairies.
All right. This next part, you get to decide what it looks like because it's the hair. All right. Is your person going to have a mohawk? Are they going to have pigtails? Are they going to have long, wavy hair? It is completely up to you. I think I'm going to give mine a mohawk.
I'm gonna do my fairy's hair, long wavy hair.
Can your fairy
Awesome.
be a boy?
Of course your fairy can be a boy.
So if you want to change up the skirt that we drew and put them in pants and make it a boy, that is more than okay.
Is yours a mohawk?
Yes.
That is really cool. I think that would be really cool for boy hair too, if you wanted to do that.
Miss Martinez,
Yes.
how do you draw wavy hair?
All right. So to draw wavy hair, I'm going to draw a circle right over here. So we have the head. And to do wavy hair, I'm just going to go like this. So it's nice and wavy. All right. When we are done adding the hair, we're going to add the wings. Now, there are lots and lots of different ways to draw fairy wings. We're going to use some simple shapes. Now, we can't see the wings that are behind the head or behind the body. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start by drawing this. It looks like it would be a triangle if the piece is connected to the back. We're going to do another one over here. And then we're going to do a circle for the bottom of the wings.
It looks pretty.
It does look very pretty. I think the mohawk is my favorite part, though. I'm not going to lie, Miss Martinez. Miss Wiltrout loves mohawks.
So
I like the curly hair, too, though. Sorry.
Now that we have our fairy drawn, we can erase the extra lines that we don't need. We can add a face. All right. So we need to add, is it 4 eyes?
For a fairy? I don't know.
Huh?
Is that too many or not enough?
You're definitely the expert when it comes to magical creatures. Some of our friends say that it's too many. I think that you're right. I think that they have human features. So I think it's just the 2 eyes.
All right. So 2 eyes, 1 mouth, a nose, and 12 ears.
12 ears?
Now that doesn't sound right.
That doesn't
Is it
sound
one
right.
ear? One giant ear on the top of the head?
Huh?
I would
That
have.
doesn't sound like
All
it.
right.
Mhm.
So the way that I have drawn my face, I will only have one ear visible. So I'm going to put one ear right here. And if you're not sure where the ear goes, fairies do have human features, and your ear is located right between your eye and your nose.
I have a question, Miss Martinez. Am I allowed to make my ear kind of pointy like an elf?
Yes, you can.
Okay, cool.
I like to paint and do all the things.
Nice.
All right. So the next step would be to color our fairy. We can use any colors we want. We can take our time and color them nice and neat. When we cut out our fairy, I'm going to take this one out and show you.
Do we can do any color?
Yes, any color you want. Now, you can see I have this fairy that I cut out and I colored earlier. All right. This part of the mushroom, you are going to bend. You're not going to cut it off. You're going to bend it because that's what's going to let it sit inside the jar.
Miss Martinez,
Yes.
is it okay if we Sharpie it?
Yes, that is okay. You can use any material you want to color your fairy.
Now, while you guys are coloring your fairy, I would love to tell you a little story about a gentleman named Jack and some magic beans. Now, this story might already be kind of familiar to you guys. Oh, thank you.
Look at mine.
Oh, wait, no, I'm not. I think you were saying it to somebody else. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
How strange. My friends, if you guys can hear me, give me a big thumbs up.
Here, Mrs. Rose.
Hear you.
You can? Okay, awesome. How strange. Okay, so I'm telling you guys this wonderful story of Jack and the beanstalk, of these magic beans that he got, because our thing that we're going to send you guys away with today is going to be creating something to help Jack out. But let me not get ahead of myself. Let's back up to the story of Jack. Jack is a young boy, and Jack has a little sister who unfortunately is a little bit sick. Mom really needs the money to help make the medicine that his sister needs. So Mom tells Jack that we need to sell the family cow. So Jack goes to the market, but on his way to the market, he runs into a gentleman who offers him a deal that he can't refuse. The gentleman says, "I will take your cow and I will give you these magic beans. These will help your sister. So you need to take these beans and give me the cow instead of going all the way to the market." Now, Jack really likes the idea of helping his sister. So he goes ahead and he trades the cow for 3 magic beans. Now, when Jack gets home, well, Mom is a little upset because she really wanted the money so that she could get the medicine that sister needs. She gets so mad, in fact, that she says these beans are worthless. They're not magic at all, and she throws them out the window. Jack is so sad that he goes to bed that night, and he's crying a little bit. He didn't mean to sell the cow without getting the money, but when he wakes up the next morning, he sees something incredible. Right outside of the window where the magic beans used to be, there's a huge beanstalk. Jack can't believe his eyes. He rubs his eyes as he's waking up, and he just does a double take. He says, "What?" And as he sees this wonderful beanstalk going all the way up to the clouds, he knows that it must be going somewhere important. So Jack goes ahead and sets off on his adventure and starts to climb that magic beanstalk. And on his way, he starts to hear something strange. He hears a goose. As he's climbing the beanstalk, he hears the goose getting louder and louder, honking. Oh, that's not a goose noise. What does a goose sound like? Honk honk. Yes. Oh, so our goose is starting to make that wonderful noise, and Jack is getting very curious as to what that could be. When Jack finally gets to the top of the beanstalk, there ahead of him, he sees a magical tower floating in the clouds. He hears the goose getting louder and louder as he approaches, and finally, he meets a goose. A goose? That's right. Inside of this castle, there is a goose hiding or trapped inside of a cage, and that goose is laying golden eggs. Jack knows this is the perfect way to help his sister. If he can take the goose that's laying these golden eggs and put it into a much nicer, bigger cage, that goose will be able to create many eggs. It will be happier and it won't honk all the time, and he'll be able to help his sister by selling the eggs. It's the perfect solution. So Jack opens up the cage that the goose is inside of, and he tries to help the goose get down the beanstalk. But then he hears a rumbling. When Jack looks behind him, he sees a giant coming towards him. This must be the giant's castle. It's probably the giant's goose. So Jack hurries quickly with the goose. They go down the beanstalk as fast as they can, and when they get to the bottom, Jack chops that beanstalk down. Luckily, the giant did not follow behind, so the goose and Jack are safe. They're able to have a nice big place for the goose to live where it can lay those golden eggs. But for our final experiment, I'll tell you what we're going to do in just a moment. Miss Martinez has done such a great job coloring. I want to make sure she's able to tell you anything else about your fairy before we move on.
All right, so you are going to want to, if you are putting your fairy in a jar, you want to make sure that you cut it out. You're going to be extra careful as you're cutting it out because the arm and the arms are nice and safe because they have that nice big wing behind them, but the legs are very tiny. So you want to make sure that you don't cut them, or else your fairy's going to be, oh no, I don't have a leg. And then you will put it into your magic jar. Now, what you can do with your jar to make it look a little more fanciful is you can take your green marker and you can draw on the outside of your jar so that it looks like grass. So as you can see on this one, on my finished example, we have a nice grassy field that our fairy is in. Again, you can't see because there's the background, but
I can turn off the green screen for a moment though, so we can see a little bit better. Give me just a moment. Choose virtual background.
I think it's on mine.
Oh yeah, silly Miss Wiltrout. Wrong computer. Let's try that again. All right. Say it one more time, sweetie. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. There we go. Now I took off the green screen so we can see the green.
My fairy.
Beautiful. Look at your creative fairies. My goodness, I love it.
All right.
This is a jar of
Very nice.
this. Let me show you.
All right. So, and for those of you that did not have a jar, it is getting a bit late, so we may not be able to walk through how to draw it, but there is that video. There is a video that I sent with the Zoom link. It can also be found on YouTube with the Steam Pirate. And we will be sharing this video there as well, so that if y'all want to make some more fairies in the future, you can.
Perfection.
Mrs. Martinez,
Yes.
I have a book, coloring book, which has fairy tale drawings.
Oh, how awesome. A fairy tale book of fairy tale drawings?
Yeah, let me just show you.
How cool.
Look.
Ooh, Gianchi, that's amazing. Miss Martinez is coming right over. She's going to take a peek. So cool.
That is awesome. Now, we do have one huge favor to ask, and that is please take a picture of your beautiful creations and share them on our Padlet so that we can see all of your creativity, and you might even see it in the yearbook.
Awesome. Before we let you guys go, we have one more challenge for you that has to do with the story that I had just told of Jack and the Beanstalk and that goose with those magic eggs. The challenge that we have for you guys is to help Jack when he's going down the beanstalk to make sure that none of the magic eggs, those golden eggs, fall and crack. So here's what you guys are going to do. When you're at home, maybe over the weekend, you guys can actually take an egg, like the egg that I have here. And what I want you guys to do is create something to help protect the egg. So if you were to drop it, it would not crack. The same way when Jack was going down the beanstalk, if the goose were to lay a magic egg, we would not want it to break. So really think about what you could create. What materials could you use that you have at home to protect this egg? So if it were to fall, it would not break.
Now, Mom and Dad, if you do not want them using real eggs, if you get the little plastic eggs that you see around Easter, those will work just as well. Because if those do fall and hit the ground, they do pop open and break just like a real egg without half the mess.
I do have those plastic eggs. I do really like.
That's okay. This is your engineering challenge. So we are going to be giving you guys some time to do this. But if you do create something to help Jack and that golden egg, then you guys can share it again on the Padlet as well. And of course, you guys have all weekend or even longer if you'd like. All right. So, Miss Martinez, is there anything else we'd like to remind our friends?
Have a safe and awesome 3-day weekend, and we will see you around.
Sounds good. Bye, my friends.
Bye.
Miss Wilrow,
Yes, dear.
where will you both put the Padlet?
Here, we'll go ahead and put it into the chat for you. So if you'd like, you can go into the chat in just a moment and see that wonderful Padlet there. That way you can share your creations and look at some of your friends' amazing inventions, creations, and artwork as well. Very cool. No problem.
Thank you, Miss Wilrow.
Yes, of course. Miss Martinez just put it into the chat, so you guys are welcome to take a look there. Oh, Ariana, I love your background. Very cool. Bye, Anya. Thank you so much for coming. Bye. I'm sorry, Irene. Did I say your name wrong? Oh, Miss Wiltrout. I'm such a silly goose.
It's
I just
okay.
wish I laid golden eggs. Good job, my dears. Alrighty, friends. If you are ready to go, then I hope you have a great weekend. If you'd like to stay for one more minute. Bye, friends. If you want to stay for one more minute, we will leave it up for 1 minute if anyone else has any questions. Otherwise, we hope you have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye, Chara. Bye, Miss Denezo.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Miss Wilrow, we can't click on the link.
That's okay. Give me 1 moment and we'll see if we can fix it for you.
I know what I did.
Miss Martinez has got it.
Do we have to click on the link?
Of course not. This is just for you to share pictures of your wonderful work or of your experiments or anything that you guys create. There's already some pictures up there of previous STEAM nights, but we would love even more for the yearbook. So think about it. If you want to take pictures of your artwork, you might even be featured there. Looking great. Miss Martinez is going to post it so that you guys can click on it. There you go. And now I'll give 30 more seconds in case anyone wants to check it out.
Can we also cut out grass with paper?
Great idea. Yes, you could absolutely add some grass that you've cut out with paper.
Okay.
Alrighty, my dears, the time has come. We're going to go ahead and end the meeting. I hope you have a great 3-day weekend. We'll see you very soon. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye.